want to welcome everyone back to our Prime Conference. And we're delighted to have the school in Brazil here, the business school here with us. And I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Yes. Okay, hello for everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to share some experience with this audience. Thank you for the opportunity. I am Alexandre Garcia, and Navi Ciasca is here too in this class, in this room. So, this research is in progress, and we try to answer this question. If do Brazilian business schools prepare future financial executives to account for SDGs? So we are faculties members at FECAP, Davi and I. And FECAP is a first business school in Brazil since 1902. And FECAP is a signature of Prime Brazil, the principle for responsible management education. Okay, so this is the agenda that we'll talk today in the few minutes about the motivation for this research, the context and some of literature review, the methodology and sample, some preliminary results because the research is not concluded yet, and the conclusion that are in progress. The motivation is based on the target number 12 of SDGs. It's about ensuring sustainable consumptions and production patterns. And then specific indicator of this target, the indicator number 12.6.1, it's related to the number of companies publishing sustainability reports. And we know that in the final document of United Nations, during the Rio Plus 20 conference, we have a paragraph 47 that encourages companies to consider integrated sustainability information into their reporting cycles and paying particular attention to the needs of the developing countries. So the company's sustainability reports will not be able to replace the country level reports, but if well aligned, they will be able to effectively augment and enrich the information, particularly for the SDG indicator. And the effects of implementation of indicator we have in the document of the UNEP that about 40% of 244 indicators of the SDG are directly or indirectly related to corporate disclosures as requested by this indicator. And the results of the application, the implementation of this SDG indicator can contribute to generate data that can then be used to measure progress against a range of the other SDG targets, can provide details on different aspects of each topic represented by one SDG indicator, and can provide valuable topics-related expertise and perspectives. During our literature review, we find some papers, for example, one from Journal of Finance and Accounting, and the researchers, they made a research with sample of the 119 respondents that 71 are professionals and others are the university faculty members. And they find that management account department or another reporting department is responsible for sustainability reporting. and that for this it's required the training for those personnel. So this is why business school is involved to accomplish this indicator of SDG, the indicator 12.6.1. In the another literature, it's the United Nations had recently a proposal from the custodian agents, a methodology for this indicator. And they ask a minimum requirement for the inclusion of a company in the indicator. And that we can see that the existing related today, for example, the integrated report, the framework by IIRC, the Global Reporting Initiative Standards, the GRI, and the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, that companies may continue to use these frameworks, and these frameworks will be counted towards the indicator. So this is a good solution because these frameworks are in place today and during the last years. And another document, another paper from Journal of Education for Sustainable Development. We find a research that used the sample of 16 sustainability assessment tools, including AISHE method, that is the same method that we use in this research. And the sustainability assessment tools reviewed in this paper focus mainly on the environmental impacts of the university operations, as we can see in the areas addressed. There are 44%. And the issues related to governance is in the second. But aspects of education, as for example, curriculum of the courses, researches, and outreach activities, are not well addressed by these tools. In the Brazilian case, we found some researches that used the AISHE method. For example, this paper in the Brazilian Journal of Science and Technology. And this is a case study about the one university in the southern Brazil. That is a community university with around 20,000 students and more than 1,000 teachers and 1,000 employees. It's located in 7 campuses with 54 graduation courses, 7 technical courses, 45 specialization courses, and 7 master degree and 1 doctorate program. And they use the AISHE method, the framework 1.0, and they did interviews with some coordinators of these courses, and they use the application of quick scans that it's covered by the AISHE method. And this questionnaire was sent to 60 teachers and 90 students. Our methodology and sample covered just 22 business schools in Brazil. Why just 22 business schools? Because these schools are signatories of Prime today. It's just 22. I will show you the population of business school in Brazil, but in this time we have just 22 business schools that are in signature with Prime. And the methodology I told you, we use the AISHE. AISHE is the auditing instrument for sustainability in higher education. And this method uses 20 different criteria. They are clustered in 5 fields of attention. And these are put together in 3 categories based on the first 3 of the 4 parts of the Deming circle for quality management: plan, do, check, act. And just some numbers of Brazil and the world. So we can see the list of countries by their forecasted estimated GDP, the gross domestic product, based on PPP, the purchasing power parity. So we can see that Brazil is the eighth position, but in the population, Brazil is the fourth. We can see that the most populous nations on the earth, we have China, India, US, Indonesia in front of Brazil. It's just to see the entire population. In Brazil specifically, in 2 years ago, we had uh, more than 200 million of people, and the students in the high education institution, there was there were 8 million, more than 8 million and 100,000 students. And the quantity of these institutions, these high education institutions, are more than 2,500 institutions. And these institutions has almost 4,000 undergraduate courses. For these undergraduate courses, we have two courses that belongs to the business schools. One is business administration and another is accounting. And we have these numbers, for example, for business administrations in undergraduate courses, we have more than 2,500 courses. In the accounting, more than 2,000 courses. And in the students, for this number of 80 million students, almost more than 1 million belongs to these two courses. They are the principal in that has the most students in the courses in Brazil. And we can see in the figure the number of students that are growing along these last years. This is the just 22 institutions, the higher education institution that are signatories of Prime Brazil. Prime has a chapter in Brazil, and this is the logo of the institution, the educational institution today, 22. And this 22 institution has almost 30,000 students just in these two courses that are the business schools, in the business administration and accounting. Now the methodology that we use, just a second, the level of achievement of Brazilian universities does not compare with European universities, neither with North American universities. The Brazilian higher education consisting of more than 2,500 higher education institutions, according to that data from the Ministry of Education. Of this total, 85% are colleges, and just 80% are universities, and the others are technology centers or technological institutes. So we have around 200 universities in Brazil. And the methodology that we use in this study is the AISHE, but we use just one pillar of the methodology. For example, we have 4 pillars for this methodology, the framework 2.0 of this methodology, but we use just the education. And education has 6 aspects that are in the right. And the audit instrument AISHE is designed to measure the level to which sustainable development has received a place in the education of institution. So in this education model, we can see some things specific about the curriculum, the methodology, the integration of the courses. And for each one of these 6 aspects, the respondents need to point exactly what the 5 stages the courses are in. For example, in the stage 1 is the beginning of the implementation of the sustainable development concept. The stage 2 is one process oriented about this theme. In the stage 3 is the process of sustainable development education has feedback. And the 4th stage, we can see the feedback can came from the chain of process. For example, some professional institutions that can give feedback for the students. In the final stage is the 5. It's the part of society, for example, the community that the university are in place. So it's a society oriented. So the results that we have, it's not finished yet. We didn't get the 22 respondents, but we can see, for example, for these 22 business schools, 4 it's from government, it's a public ownership, and the another it's from private company. The 18 it's from private capital. And the courses we have almost 60 courses in these 22 business schools. The courses we have undergraduate business administration and undergraduate accounting. In Brazil, these areas are separated. And we have some PhD and master's business administration and master and PhD in the accounting area. So for each one of the questionnaire, we have the results from the respondents. For example, for the first question is about the educational objective, if they are related to sustainable development for the student profile. So we can see that the most of respondents pointed that there are in the beginning that sustainable development is mentioned in the egress profile, but not in the total. The second question is about if the most applied educational methodologies. So we can see a mixture of the answers that goes from active and reflective learning with some innovation that is stimulated and the participation of experts and the members from society. In the opposite, the question 3, it's about the introduction to the basic concepts of the sustainable development. So we can see about a kind of shared these answers because the 50% it's in the beginning of the stage, in the stage 1, that the basic concepts are studied at the beginning of the course. And the opposite, almost 40%, has the representative from society that contributes for the basic concepts in the course. In the 4th question is about integrated problem handling, and we can see that it's a little shared too, the results. The 5th question is about the curriculums, if they are interdisciplinary. We can see a mixture of the answers, but they are in the beginning too. The complexity are split in the objective, but we cannot see a lot of multi-integrations in the interdisciplinary. And the final of the questions about the result assessment. It's related to research projects, undergraduate thesis, or final discipline reports. So we can see that the measure is in the beginning of the activities of the projects from undergraduate and graduate, projects about sustainable development, And in the opposite, we can see for these projects involved actively the society. And we had a question about how this institution, if they following some sustainability reports in the curriculum in the explicit way. And so we can see that the most of the institution use the GRI and another portion sustainability reporting, and less than 50% use integrated reporting. We have some other balance social, it's a domestic kind of statements, and then others, for example, CSB can be. Well, the conclusion that they are in progress because it's not finished, the total uh, results. So sustainable development contents in primary schools curriculum is still basic with little interdisciplinarity, but with a variety of undergraduate and graduate sustainable development projects with innovation and good participation by society. Less than 50% of primary schools teach corporate reporting based on integrated reporting framework that that include a non-financial information with financial information because this is integrated reporting. So the conclusion is just a photograph. This research is just a photograph with 22 higher education institutions with more than 30,000 students. But we can see the population is so big. We have more than 2,500 institutions and more than 6 million of students. So the conclusion is that there are a long way to put in place the sustainable development concepts in the Brazilian business school that can impact the competence of future of leaders and executives of companies. So thank you. I think we will have some time to discuss, to share some experience. Thank you for all.
Well, thank you so much. That was so informative. I've asked everyone to put questions in the chat if anybody has any questions. And in the meantime, I wanted to ask you a question. I just wanted to make sure I understood the number of questions. So are you saying 1/8 of all the students in Brazil are learning business etiquette in the through SDGs? Business courses that you suggested?
Sorry, Magda, I think my son, I didn't listen the entire question that you did. Please repeat again.
It was a lot of words, but my question was, if I understood you correctly, 1/8 of all the students in Brazil are learning SDGs?
Yes, it's I think 1 million from 6. It's 1 million of students are in these courses of business schools, but with the sustainable development as concept, we don't have sure that if these 1 million students are learning about this concept. So we concentrate our research just in 22 institutions, the business school institution, that we can ask for them if the curriculum of these undergraduate courses in the master courses, if they has the concepts of sustainable development in the course. So for this sample, we found just 30,000 students. So it's I think 3% of the total of students in the business school in Brazil. I answered your question, Magda?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you both for joining us from such a distance. I'm not sure what the time difference is, but we appreciate your presence here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions coming up, but I see we're being encouraged to take a minute and fill out the end of session poll on the Methodology app. So if everyone can take a minute and do that, I believe it's a star system, so you can click the number of stars. And we want to thank you again for joining us, and hope that you can stay on and watch the next session if you've got time. And we'll be introducing the next session in just a couple minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Magda.
Thank you so much.